Welcome to the Fish on New Zealand podcast with your hosts Tony Green and Luke Mason. This week we sat down with Ben Brown from Built to Fish and we had a good chat. He told us lots of stories and adventures, and yeah, it's worth a listen. Well, we think it is anyway. Since we don't have any sponsors at the moment, I thought I'd give his sponsors a bit of a shout out. There's Surtees Boats, Honda Marine New Zealand, Daiwa, GoPro, Balex, SeaDeck, Ocean LED, Minn Kota, Hutch Wilco, Fusion, Fishy Fingers, Bonds Lures, Garmin, Berkeley Gulp, Oakley, Cressy, and Just Another Fisherman. So we hope you enjoyed this podcast. It's about an hour and a half long, and yeah, enjoy. Right, so how do you want to start it?
Oh, I guess this is episode 1, so the inaugural or
Of the Fish On podcast?
Yeah, the guinea pig one, but we've got Ben Brown here from Built to Fish, and
Cheers, nice to meet you.
Cheers,
Yeah.
Good to be here, boys. Thanks for the beer.
no worries. And if you don't know who he is, I guess by the end of this, hopefully you know a bit more, or follow his socials, and we'll go from there. So
Figure out what he's up to and doing. But I got on my screen here that kingfish that you posted the other day. Massive.
Yeah. Which one? We caught 2 big ones in the last couple. Oh, that one, yeah. Yeah, that was on
Absolutely
Tuesday.
Massive.
Yeah, that was a good fish.
What did it weigh in at?
Didn't weigh it.
No?
it'll be good over 20 though, easy, eh? Well,
Oh, yeah, I'd say it's a good over 30.
oh yeah, shit.
Yeah,
That's
it
good.
was a metre 35 long and metre 36 long. So,
Yep.
yeah, it was a good fish. Good day out there.
Shit, yeah.
Mm.
So I guess tell us your story and like how that got started, and because you got a bit of background with the old Red Bull and kayaking.
Yeah,
and
I mean, we can go way back if you want. But for the past, up until 2018, I was a professional athlete for Red Bull.
Yep.
Travelling the world whitewater kayaking.
Terrible.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, it had its moments, but it was, I did that for 18 years, paddled in 70-something countries.
Sweet.
And sort of off the back of that, well, that all started out, I finished university and I went out to the Zambezi River, just because paddling was my thing. And I went out for, I think the original trip was supposed to be 6 weeks, and I stayed for 5 months.
Oh, wow.
And ended up working as a video boater there, filming the rafting trips.
Yep.
And then sort of through being a professional kayaker, as a sponsorship came along, we had more and more projects come up, but it didn't matter how much budget we had, just because of the nature of where we were going, you couldn't get camera crews in there.
Yeah.
So quite a few of us sort of developed filming, photography and editing skills. And that served me pretty well throughout my kayaking career. And then fishing was always a passion of mine, and I just, through the enjoyment of taking photos and video, I would make some little fishing videos and that. I'd sort of, during my time as a kayaker, I'd become sponsored by GoPro as well. So
Okay, cool.
the GoPro cameras kind of lend themselves to being pretty easy to use on the boat and that. And then I had a few pretty serious injuries kayaking. I broke my back and had a full shoulder reconstruction. So I sort of, as I got a bit older, I kind of decided that I'd have to wind up the kayaking a little bit. And yeah, it was never really the goal to sort of create Built to Fish, which is kind of, it's still evolving as whatever that is. Whether it's I guess it kind of fits into that like a multimedia fishing platform, really.
Yep.
And I sort of identified a gap in the market for broadcast quality content in the online space. There's lots of guys going out and taking photos and that, but I just sort of wanted to raise that bar a little bit and take some cool footage. And yeah, I guess the rest is history. It's going really well.
Yeah, it looks all that GoPro footage you get
It's insane.
under the water stuff is just it's mind blowing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I always wondered if you could see what was happening down there, it'd be pretty awesome. But
yeah.
I guess it'd be hard work to get all the way down there.
Yeah. I mean, it's I get as much of a kick out of getting cool images as I do of catching big fish. So
yeah,
it's quite a good marriage of hobbies, I guess. So, but yeah, I mean, I love jumping in the water with the marlin and whatever else and swimming
Get
with them.
into it, eh? That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah, it's good fun.
So, how do you get the fishing bug? Is that like typical Kiwi male, an uncle or a dad, or when you're young?
Yeah, I mean, my dad was an open ocean yacht racer. Did a lot of Sydney Hobart races and Auckland Suvas and round New Zealand yacht races. And as kids, me and my brothers were sort of brought up sailing and tearing around the Hauraki Gulf. He kept a little 30-foot, an H28 yacht in Half Moon Bay Marina there.
Oh, okay.
So we'd spend our Christmas holidays sailing up to Kowau and the Bay of Islands and things like that. And so as we got a little bit older, we'd take the dinghy out and go fishing. And we used to also spend a lot of our sort of family summer holidays up at Opedo Bay with some friends up there.
It's a
and
nice spot up.
Yeah. So I mean, it was just like all lucky kids in New Zealand, they get the opportunity to go and fish and stuff, dive, and so I mean, the ocean was always a big part of what I did, and it's sort of what led me to the kayaking as well. Dad got transferred to Hamilton, and I sort of turned the ocean adventures into the river adventures, and then sort of went back to the sea again, I guess.
Fair enough. So you're pretty much Hamilton from a really young age.
From about 6 or 7.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We were sort of saying this, and other things that Hamilton we think is as much as people give it shit, it's got everything within distance. You can go out to the west coast or the east coast or up north, and I don't know. It's all sort of.
No, it is good. It is good. I guess that's New Zealand though, right? But that's what Mum always used to tell us when we were complaining about how boring Hamilton was. But it's so central.
Such a logical
close
answer,
to everywhere. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
But no, I mean it's a good spot for me. I mean, short of having somewhere I could go and go fishing off my back doorstep, being able to. I drove to Wakatani on Tuesday morning and fished at Wide all day and was home by 8:30.
Awesome.
Fished all day. So I mean, I did leave at 3, but yeah.
It's always good in game season too. Like you're up early in the morning and you don't know if you're going to go west or east, and it's a last minute decision. Then it's bang, see you later.
I always know where I'm going. West.
Yeah. Head out west. Can't beat it, eh?
Yeah.
I guess, and that's sort of the closest place to get to from here as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, having Dad living out in Carpia makes that decision pretty easy. Having a base out there is pretty nice, and the fishing's when it's on, it's good. But just the weather is the only thing that is the issue with the West Coast. But
yeah, I mean it was pumping towards the end of the summer. There was queues and queues and queues out Raglan all the time, wasn't there? So,
yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, I must admit I like following all your socials, but then I also loathe it as well. During that Nationals period, I was bloody out slaving my ass off working away, and 5 days in a row you're out there bloody
I got a lot of
Instagram stories. I had to turn the old phone off for a bit there. I wasn't too impressed.
I had a lot of messages from people that were working during that time, said the same thing. They're like, "Well done, you bugger." Pissed off watching that, but no, that was a good week actually. Caught a fish every day in Nationals, every day we fished. So yeah.
How did you end up results-wise from that?
Oh God, have you looked at the Nationals results? They're quite hard to navigate your way around. Like,
I won't even bother them.
Yeah, I mean, I think we were the top club for our region, and we're the top boat in the club. And then I think in the striped marlin category, we ended up 4th or 5th or something. To do well in the Nationals, you have to fish light line and catch a lot of fish. So. To be honest, it's just a good excuse to lock in a crew for a week, because the dates are so far out. We're just lucky that it coincided with a good patch of weather out west. So,
and pretty impressive up a trailer boat too. Not a big sort of thing. So
yeah, but I mean, people say that people tell me all the time that guys with diesel motors have an advantage catching fish, but I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's something in that, but. Those Hondas seem to raise them pretty good too. I don't know. The beauty of having a little boat or a smaller boat is that you can fish Hokianga one day, you can fish Whangaroa the next day, you can fish. Last year we went down to New Plymouth for the Nationals, caught 3 fish in a day down there. So
it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg as well, and gas and.
Well, no, I suppose not. Yeah. Feels like an arm and a leg sometimes.
Well, I guess that's another thing to sort of move on is like. Just thinking about boats and how did you get into choosing a boat and getting sponsored and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I mean it was so I've always owned Surtees.
Yeah.
I what drew me to them was the sort of backstory of them is that Neil Surtees, who first founded the company and started building them, built them specifically for crossing the Whakatane Bar. And, you know, being a West Coast fisherman, I sort of like the idea of a boat that was designed with a bar in mind.
Yep.
And found a 6.1 bar crusher, Surtees bar crusher on Trade Me that some guy was practically giving away.
Yep.
He bought it and didn't like it and just wanted to move it on. So it sort of the timing was right and got into that, and it was a great boat. That was one of my favourite boats ever, actually. And then it sort of was the same when I moved up to the 7.3. That was an ex-demo Surtees that they built for a boat show.
Yep.
That they were flicking on, and then I was sort of ended up becoming friendly with the guys at Surtees, and once I started Built to Fish, well, that was actually, of course, where the name Built to Fish came from. That's their sort of sub-brand.
Slogan,
And it just sort of all kind of worked out. There wasn't like a sudden like light bulb moment where like suddenly they were giving boats away or anything. It was just and that and in fact,
they obviously see something in what you're doing.
Well, I hope so. But no, they're great to work with, and the boats are cool. I mean, I love them,
Your one looks pretty seriously set up as well.
Yeah, it is.
You get to custom build that yourself?
Yeah, to a certain extent. I mean, the hull's a standard one that they built, but, you know, I put a bit of fruit on it. But, it goes good.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I mean... The Honda, there's a bit of a tie-up there as well? Or they've seen your content and...
Yeah, I mean, all the companies and brands that I work with are all stuff that I was using anyway. I mean, there's been a little bit of
sponsorship to be
and I mean, I've been working in sponsorship obviously as a professional athlete for a long time, so I sort of know how to build a beneficial relationship. You know, there's a lot more to it than just getting something for free. You know, I think
posting a few photos here.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot of sponsored people wouldn't think that.
The formula that it's so simple that a lot of people don't get is that you have to put more into it than you get out of it. Well, certainly that's the way I've always approached it.
It's easy to sit on the outside and go, you got a nice boat and a bloody motor, and he's got it so good. But
don't get me wrong, I'm stoked, but there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes, and I mean the ratio of fishing to hours spent in editing rooms and my walk-in wardrobe that I've set up as a sound booth doing narration to myself for hours on end is nobody sees that part, but I mean it's like I say, I've no complaints. I bloody love it. So
it's cool, man. If you can turn your passion to job, that's the ultimate dream, isn't it?
Yep. I think it can definitely be fraught with danger, and you've sort of got to have the right mindset, I think, because you got to be careful that your day doesn't. I mean, obviously when we're on a filming project, it's like stuff moves pretty slowly because we're trying to film and get the right audio and all that sort of thing. But it doesn't always go to plan. You know, the fish don't follow the script, and when you have those inevitable slow days, you know, it doesn't cost any less. But you sort of got to be careful that it doesn't take away from the enjoyment of doing it.
Yeah.
Which it doesn't. I mean, you know, initially when I sort of started trying to structure my episodes a lot more regularly, I'd sort of put myself under pressure. It was only me putting the pressure on myself, but it certainly for a little bit detracted from the enjoyment of what we're trying to do. And now that we've sort of...
And if you're creating quality content and it's a little bit less frequent, then you may as well spend that time and just get it done right.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I sort of had the idea of wanting to do, you know, throughout the year, just be able to pump stuff out week after week after week, and I quickly realised that wasn't sustainable, you know, just because of whatever, weather or, you know, other commitments or fish not playing the game. So I sort of, like you say, I decided to kind of focus more on the less regular, higher quality stuff, which seems to be working.
Absolutely,
so
absolutely.
Yeah. So
speaking of quality content, I was telling Tony I was watching the Kona stuff. Last night. I was on the couch watching it, and I was well jealous, man, because I was quite lucky. I got married in Hawaii last year.
Yeah, nice.
And so, you know, we hired a boat, and it was me and the groomsmen and the old boys, and you know, and we got out there, and like you said, you're literally just outside the marina, and the lures are out. But it was 8 hours of washing lures and turning around.
No fish. In Kona, was it?
No, we're on the small island near Honolulu.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, when it was rough too, man.
Yeah,
was rough out there.
Yeah, well, that's what people don't realise is that Hawaii is rough.
Yeah.
I mean, Kona's rough as well, but it's just like a perfectly made fishing paradise. You know, you've got a giant volcano there that shields all the fishing grounds from the trade winds.
Yeah.
But if you get outside of the lee of that volcano, she's all on. But it also so happens that it just drops straight to the bottom.
It's pretty amazing that you're doing it all within sight of land, like so close as well.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, you can see street lamps.
Yeah, it's
you know, it's
unbelievable.
crazy.
Same as like Rarotonga and that, you're like, you go out the entranceway and lures in the water and you look at the sounder and it's bloody, 500 metres and
blue water.
You're swimming distance off the edge of the reef and you think there's nothing like that over here.
No, I know. I'm supposed to be in Kona right now. Oh, what are we? Next week.
I was going to say, did you have that film from last year?
Yeah.
And you've been editing it and release it?
Yeah, well, it's sort of... So, I mean, there was a few places where that footage was supposed to end up, one of which was on the Air New Zealand in-flight. But obviously the demand has dropped for in-flight entertainment at the moment. So I was kind of sitting on quite a lot of it. And then when the lockdown came along, I thought, bugger it, I knew that people would be craving a bit of distraction. So, seemed like a good time to just roll it all out.
Yeah, and you had the legend Bonds on board.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. No, he's been a big influence for me, Bonds. He, I met him at the Tauranga Boat Show years ago. I was just kicking around and I was looking at some lures and he came up and introduced himself and he was like, "Oh, I follow your kayaking on Instagram. I saw you do a bit of game fishing."
Right.
And I was like, "Well, I drag lures around a bit. Like I'd done, 4 seasons, caught one fish, dropped tons." And he introduced me to he was just developing his light gauge system then, and he sort of said, "Well, if you're interested, I'll bloody tell you what I do and how well it's worked for me." And I was like, "Mate, I'm all ears."
Yeah, sure.
So I just went all in. And first day we went out for a shakedown, we caught a fish.
Sweet.
Awesome. And that was on the 5th of January off Kawhia, and it was the earliest a fish had been caught for our Kawhia club by a long shot.
Really?
About 3 weeks, yeah.
Shit, that's good.
Yeah.
We went down to Top Catch when he was down a little
cool.
before lockdown.
Got an interesting story, eh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, boat he's got.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it?
Amazing,
No, he's done a good job. He's got a hell of a lot of knowledge, eh? He's done some amazing things and caught a lot of fish. And
he was he had a bigger background than I thought. I thought he was just going to be, started off in his garage making lure, but all that overseas stuff.
Yeah.
And his theory behind it. He's and at the end of the day, it comes down to numbers he's had behind the boat and stuff where he's done his research. He doesn't mention a lot, but he won the Atlantic Billfish Trophy. I think it was 2 consecutive years for the most blue marlin captures in the Atlantic. Oh yeah,
which is a highly sought after trophy. So
one of those humble guys, though, he won't tell you about.
Yeah. But no, I mean his lures worked for me. It was funny actually that we caught that fish on the 5th of January. Had a good season. I think we caught 9 or 10 or something, but we were blown away by that. And then the next year I went to the same spot on the same day on the 5th of January and caught a fish like within a couple of 100 metres of the same spot on the same lure in the same position. Yeah, it was crazy. I went back the last 3 years and haven't no luck, but I thought I'd found a little cracked the code. Yeah.
Sweet. The other one we've been watching is the far north. So you were saying that's one of your favourite spots to fish.
Yeah.
And obviously you've got Kawhia and the west coast out here, but you like heading north just for the variety? Or?
Oh man, after Tuesday I'd say White Island's one of my favourite places. It's whatever's the flavour of the month. But yeah, I mean the far north for me is Kawhia's home, or the home port. It's, I've had some epic adventures out there and I'll always fish there. But yeah, I don't know, just that you just never know what you're going to catch in the far north, eh? Whether it's on the east coast or the west coast.
And they seem to always be big up there. I've got aunties and uncles that have a batch up there, and of course you caught another big fish.
Yeah. I know, guys. You talk to guys that catch 20 pounder every month, just as standard.
Yeah,
so.
Bastards.
Well, that's a bit down that Kawhia, that Jeff out of Moco, eh? He's his 30 pound to his name's insane, eh?
He reckons he's caught 500 over 20.
Yeah.
20 pound and then 6 30 pounders.
Yeah, and he's in that little Mac 360A. He's knows what he's doing, eh?
Yeah, I spoke to him. I was like, man, I got to come down and fish with you. He's like, everybody says that. Nobody ever comes. He reckons he'll get, he'll sit out there. He goes to a spot, always uses the same bait, a slab of fresh kahawai, stray lines, and just wades through the sharks.
And he's He's shallow too, eh? Like you instantly think 30 pound on the west coast down there must be out the typical 50 metre at November, but no, he's in shallow and
and all year.
Yeah,
that's what blew me away.
He's bloody got it now. But the Fishing Adventure boys went down there last year, eh? And went out, followed him out, and nothing that big, but they got onto some good fish with them. So
they must have done something right down there because I see Scott's built a little beach down there,
he's got a little cabin on his so we'll have to try and get them on as well. So
we'll have a chat with everyone who can, eh?
Same with Bonds, he'd be a good one to nail down.
I was just saying, saying to Tony after that, his story was just so good, and like where he went and just on a whim, give it a go, and then he's just so into it.
Well, I must admit, I was a bit on the, it's a bit like the Lumo sprocket lures. One person catches one and then everyone buys one, and then obviously a day out of Whangamata or something, there's 80 of those lures out there, and then obviously more fish get caught on them and everyone gets a bit, and I was a bit like that with the Bond series as well. It's like, it's just bloody, but once you actually sit down and listen to it, it's there's a bit more science to it than you think. He's onto a good winner there. Yeah,
totally. I mean, all I can speak of is my own experience, and I tried the other. I'm talking about the hooks, but I dragged those big hooks around for ages, and I had heaps of bites. And man, I was surprised when they stayed on after the first run. You know what I mean? And now I'm surprised that when they fall off. Like this year before lockdown, we landed 15 marlin, and I was thinking about the other day. We definitely dropped one, and I think we might have dropped two. Over the whole season, and both of those were off doubles.
Oh yeah.
And one of them was because my wind on leader pulled out of the Dacron loop. So it wasn't the hook. So something in that, and it's not always like that. And I mean, a big part of hooking a marlin is how they're feeding. Especially a stripey, because they'll come in, and if they're in that funny mode where they stick their bill out and they start sort of whacking at it, they're hard to hook. But when they're crash biting like they seem to be this year, you hook them, you pin them in those little hooks. I mean, it's a different kind of fishing. You can't sit there and just scull drag into the boat. But
I guess that's the other thing too. You got the traditional, lure fishermen who heavy drags and stuff like that, and then they bend open a light gauge hook and put a photo on Facebook and go, these are the worst fucking things out. But
totally.
You got to, after listening to Bonds, it's a whole different. You got to change. I guess it's same as those little sliders and Inkatu jigs. They're little 1 barrow hooks, and you can still catch 20-30 pound snapper on them. So
totally. Well, that kingfish with white was on a 5 barrow hook.
Yep.
Tiny little thing.
I was surprised at that. I went out with on pursuit with Rick Pollock and that, and same thing. I had all these 12 barrow and they're like, no, and they're like 4s and 5 circle hooks. They're like, no, that's all you need. And,
well, I was filming at White with Finn Henderson, who was Rick's deckhand for a couple of seasons. So had a little bit of inside knowledge of White Island, which was quite good. So
can I get you another beer?
Why not, Chris?
I won't say no either.
What do you have? Just same again, Tony, or?
I'll just stick to the Heinies, it's alright, mate.
Do you want this other crafty beer?
Okay.
What do we got?
It's Pills and Thrills Carriage Project.
Lovely.
Look at that, eh?
Supporting local, and then we drink it, Heineken.
Sold by DB, alright.
Our good friends of ours are print labels, they're print makers.
Oh,
yeah. They said over lockdown they print Heineken labels and stuff, and they said it was nearly bloody worse than Christmas, eh?
Really?
The amount of labels they were printing, they were going nuts. So.
Yeah.
Well, everyone turned into alcoholics and they say,
kept us going. Once I figured out the alcohol deliveries, it was bloody great.
Yeah, the old recycling man had his work cut out for him and he came back on, that's for sure.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I guess the boat got a good birthday and all the lures rigged up over lockdown, not much else to do.
The lures were all out at Carfair. The boat didn't get too much of a birthday, to be fair. It was sitting on my front in my driveway under an oak tree, so all I was doing was just fighting the stem of bloody leaves filling
falling
up.
Off it,
Yeah, I started doing the sort of live feeds every Friday at 5 through lockdown, which was quite fun,
Watched a few of those, they were good.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, there was no structure to it. Have a few beers and give some stuff
sort
away.
Like
exactly. Yeah, I mean, and, it was the same again, just a bit of fun, trying to...
Oh, it was good. I think people needed something to keep them entertained because it was starting to go loopy inside. Eh?
Yeah, it didn't help that it was such good weather at the start of it all. Eh?
Was it all ever?
Yeah.
Some of those rules too. We ended up going up to Ruakaka up north and at my in-laws and stayed there and you're right on the beach and only one then you can't even go surf casting or anything. It was
it was like a mill pond out there, wasn't it? You were bloody
staring at the boat in the driveway every day. It was bloody torture, eh? But
I guess you had to do what you had to do, but it makes it tough that you couldn't go surf casting off your front batch. But now they've blimmin' let people come out of quarantine early and drive up and down the countryside with no tests. And anyway, we won't go down that rabbit hole.
We're not doing a COVID podcast. So this could either turn the podcast into a very long episode, but the Wanganella Banks, it seems like a pretty bucket list place. So what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, the fishery's unbelievable. It's like no marlin fishing you ever experience. But it's like everything, when all you're seeing is the good part of it.
Yeah, I'd say the trip there is pretty intense.
It's intense, yeah. It's a long time to be on a boat. Yeah, it's brutal. You're going very slow for a long period of time. Yeah. And when you go to the open ocean like that for 10 days, you'll be very, very lucky if you don't get some sort of weather. And we've had a couple of real pastings on the way back.
That does not interest me at all.
Yeah.
Being that far away.
If you have any sort of seasickness in your bones, you're going to be in a world of hell. Yeah. But I mean, it depends what you want to sacrifice to go and experience
that
fishing.
Footage of the fish just diving through that bait ball is just insane. Isn't it?
Yeah. You don't see that. I mean, you do see the bait balls, but that trip was sort of one out of the bag because it was a combination of really, really good meatballing marlin and flat calm, a flat calm day.
Yeah. And
an understandable crew that was happy to stop fishing while I jumped in and swam around for an hour. So, but I mean, I couldn't believe what I've seen unfold in front of me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's all the stuff you don't see, like I've seen lots of times fish on meatballs off the west coast and that, but you'll never see what's going on underneath there. And she was amazing. But I was in the water with them for about an hour, and it all happened very fast. I was flying my drone over a meatball, and then it got close enough that I was like, I'm going to jump in. So I didn't chuck on a wetsuit or anything. I was just in my boxer shorts, jumped over the side, put my fins and my mask on, took my camera, and swam with them, and ended up quite a long way away from the boat. And then they just all disappeared. After about 45 minutes.
What the fuck's scaring them?
Well, I don't think much of it. I was like, feeding time's over,
Yeah.
So I sort of swam back to the boat, and I mean, I was definitely looking behind me. It's a lot of clear blue water, and the boat looks so far away.
Yeah.
But it was interesting because the Hunters Club guys went up and filmed one of the pilots for their spearfishing show afterwards, and I actually gave them some footage to use, and I watched the pilot, and the spear fishermen that had been up there before were saying that, they never go in the water at dawn or dusk, and that when you got to get worried when the fish suddenly disappear. And I was like, oh shit. But sometimes I mean,
it's good to be that naive, eh?
yeah. On that trip we actually did see a couple of sharks, but that was my fourth time up there, and that was the first time I'd seen sharks. I actually saw some on the drone on the meatball.
Yeah.
Which they certainly weren't marlin anyway. They could have been big tuna, but they looked like they were moving a bit slow for tuna. But
how did you get onto that trip? Because it's not really it's a private boat, isn't it?
Yeah. I just became mates with the guy that owns the boat. Is it an
ex-commercial boat? Or?
Yeah. It's an old purse-seining boat that was from Australia.
Oh yeah.
And he bought it over, God, maybe 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
And he just cruises around and goes fishing, and I was lucky enough to get the call up a few times. So
you good skipper or pretty hard taskmaster?
No, great guy. Oh, yeah, chill, super chill. I mean, you've got to like, like you say, it's a private trip. Everyone's got to do their roles. It's you're 2 or 3 hours a night on the helm when you're going up there, and but he's really cool. He's a hell of a skipper and loves fishing as much as everybody else. So yeah. Awesome. It's pretty impressive the way he drives a big boat like that. It's just an old single screw diesel motor. Just he chases fish around. It's almost like the world's biggest centre console, you know.
Yeah,
on the
because you're fighting them off the front and all. But
Yeah,
you got 3,
yeah.
4, 5 on at once, you know. So.
Yeah, they just got back actually. Day before yesterday, they had a good trip.
Oh, yeah.
Another 104 in 4 days or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's it's sort of like, I don't know. People always ask me about if it ruins the fishing here, and it's kind of totally different. You know, you're like, it's amazing and there's so many fish there, but it's also like, I don't know, if you're a surfer or something going and surfing perfect cloud break in Fiji, I don't think you'd come back and then surfing would be ruined for you at Raglan or something. It's just, you know, you just sort of get to experience something that's magical and
enjoy it.
Yeah, and then you come back and I get a hell of a lot more satisfaction out of catching a fish off Kawhia or Whangaroa or something than I do out of catching one at the Wanganellas. But yeah.
I guess the other thing too, that with the high numbers of fish, it gives you a good opportunity to try different rigs and different gear and what works and what what's got better.
I think the biggest takeaway I've taken from those trips with catching lots of fish is two things: learning what you can do with those light gauge hooks and how much hurt you can put on them, and sort of off the back of that, like using drag control to control your fish. You know, when you've got absolutely no fear of losing them.
Yeah.
You know, you go up to sunset and you can see how the fish behave, and then you can back off the drag really light and see how the fish behave, and that's something that I've definitely brought back to my fishing here. You know, you sort of get, you know, when you get those stubborn marlin that just stay under the boat and don't want to move, if you actually put a bit of drag on them when they're stable like that, you'll often pop them up, and then as soon as they start coming, you back the drag off, and I don't know if that's just because they're already coming or they suddenly feel that, you know, they get a bit of a harder pull, and then once they start swimming up that there's no resistance at all, that they're a bit more inclined to come to the surface. I don't know, but it certainly helped with catching a lot more fish here, you know.
So
I mean, you'll still get those.
Just learning those techniques. And
I mean, you still get the stub ones. God, our first one this year, we were on for 5 hours, something stupid. And I tried all the tricks, but it just
not playing ball.
Wouldn't have mattered if it was light gauge, heavy gauge, anything. I had so much. We had the drag all the way to sunset. In fact, I backed it all the way back into free spool and cranked the drag up on the side of the reel and then put it back up to sunset to try and turn it around. My wife was on the reel and she was about ready to give up, so I was like, oh well, we'll try and bust it off. We'll either get it or bust it off. You know, we tagged it about 20 minutes into the fight.
Oh yeah.
And then it was pissed.
Well deserved, eh?
Yeah. If we'd cracked it off at that point, it would have been our pinfish. But in the time between us tagging it and capturing it and deciding to keep it, someone else tagged and released it.
Oh yeah. Oh really?
Yeah. I thought it was bigger.
Are you tagging them up at the banks too, or is there too many? You can't...
Oh, it's out. You're outside of anywhere's
true,
jurisdiction. I mean, the only people that are going to catch them up there is the odd other wreck boat that goes up, and you know, or commercial boats that longliners they're not going to submit tags, so there doesn't seem much point. So,
do you think they sort of hang around that area or move around a bit, or?
Well, I mean, they're pelagic fish, so I would assume they do move, but God, we know so little about them, really. You know? So I would say they're still migrating, but I mean, I don't know why they'd come any further south from there. Yeah. You know what I mean? If they're lucky enough to hit the Wanganella banks, it's a lot more food, a lot less pressure. Yeah. If I was a marlin, I'd stay there.
Big swim for less food down here, or
exactly. Yeah, zigzag through all the bloody lures.
And it's mainly stripies there, or?
Yeah. We had last year I did 2 trips, and the first trip I think we caught 5 blues or 7 blues or something. Oh yeah. Out of we caught 30 something fish.
Yep.
And then I can remember one other blue on a trip, so that was pretty cool. But it was different up there. There was like a lot of skippies and stuff. Most of the time it's the little red bait that you get in Australia.
Yeah.
Which seemed to have the stripies, and then when we get into the skippies, it was blues. So.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, I mean, I've talked to other guys, you know, the guys off Ultimate Lady when they used to run their charters up there, and they've caught all sorts of stuff up there, wahoo, yellowfin, mahi-mahi, swordfish, black marlin, striped marlin, and never caught a blue.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Interesting, eh?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a big area though, eh? Like, that's the other thing that people don't really realise. Like, I'd be kind of guessing, but I'd say it's I'd say it's at least 60 square miles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's not like a big mountain, you know. It's like a very, very gradual hump that comes up to about 100 meters. And yeah, I think a few people have been caught out going up there expecting to like hit the Whanganella banks and just find the pot of gold. But it's lucky with the guy who runs Destiny. He spent so much time up there over the years that he's sort of figured out how to fish it. And
I remember there was a couple of guys, they brought a boat back from Aussie, and the plan was to stop there on the way back, and they did terrible. They didn't get, they just didn't, I guess,
got one or something.
One or two or something. So which is a long way to go to get one. So.
Yeah, to be fair, I suppose they were transiting, which is it's a bit of a detour, but fishing, eh? Doesn't matter where. Yeah, it doesn't matter where you are. You still won't catch them sometimes. But
Sweet as. So one of the other things I was looking here is you built yourself a bit of a man cave.
Yeah,
that looks pretty sick.
Yep, that was my lockdown project. That was actually the main reason the boat didn't get a holiday. So that's my old garage at my house that has become a dumping ground of kayaking gear and kayaks and just general rubbish over the years.
Yep.
You could barely move in there. So I unloaded 18 cubic metres of rubbish into skips.
This kind of sounds like my garage at the moment. You don't want to go in there.
I love it. I built that with sort of, it's got a dual purpose, it's designed obviously to have like a epic area to go and rig baits and store all my gear and have everything laid out, but it also sort of doubles as a filming studio for doing instructionals and
it's cool
gear reviews and stuff. Those silver drawers underneath the bench roll out.
Oh yeah, man.
So that's got another table on top, so you can use that sort of fishing wall as the backdrop. And so now I was stoked how that came out.
Shit, awesome. Yeah, looks mint.
Yeah.
All the rods up on the roof.
Yeah, rods on the roof, little heater there, see that little red thing down there? Yeah, I had to get that pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But it's good. Those cupboards are filled with all my tackle boxes, and I've got a couple of bait freezers and a fridge that I dry my fish for smoking and storing food, and I've got a beer fridge, and it's bloody good.
The essentials, absolutely. Beer fridge.
Every man's got to have a man cave, and it's sort of I had a plan of what I wanted to do, and the more I built it, the more it kind of evolved. So it ended up being a bit more than I was initially intending, but
nothing wrong with that though.
Nah, it's cool. I spend hours out there.
Yeah. Looking at your rods, it sort of leads me on to another question I was asking Tony. Like I said, I'm sort of the, wing it and just throw whatever down. I don't really know a whole lot about, what works and what doesn't. And I noticed on your Northland trip, it's pretty much all spinning reels. So what's happened to the old over? I don't know. Is it just a fade or? Oh
no. That was so the main. Actually, what? That was the one we were catching snapper and stuff, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the sort of the main purpose of that trip was to go soft baiting. Okay. It was in early December, which is kind of when the real hot time is to fish for snapper up there. So, and we were soft baiting, and I mean, guys do soft bait with overhead reels, but a spin reel is preferable to me, mainly because it's a lot easier to cast.
Maybe it's just the footage I saw, and I was just thinking,
even with the kingfish stuff, a lot of guys are going with the to spinning reels over the old bulky overheads. And these days, it's just I guess technology's changed. And
yeah, totally. I mean, it depends what kind of fishing I'm doing. I've got no preference really. If I'm jigging, I'd still probably prefer an overhead reel. Although that's just because it's what I'm used to. Like spin reels are great. For live baiting, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. A spin reel can be pretty hard to flick the bail arm over when there's a fish steaming away. I think trolling will forever be overhead reels. If I'm fishing like a little small metal jig, like an inchiku or a koga or some pirate's jig or something like that, I'll always prefer a little overhead reel over a spin reel, and that's just for easy use. I like being able to have a thumb spool system where I can just wind it in, click my thumb, drop it, wind it in, click my thumb, drop it. But it's all personal preference, eh?
Yeah. So, I was just wondering because as you grew up, you always had the over rod ones, and then I don't know, I was just watching it going, like, maybe it's completely changed, and like I said, I'm still learning all this sort of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I think everyone was the same, eh? You had one reel that did everything.
Yeah.
You had an old blooming
Old trusty.
Yeah, an old trusty pen that had been handed from your grandfather or something that you catch snapper on, but yeah, I don't know.
Basically got paracord on it,
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I'm the king of taking way too much gear on the boat to go fishing. Like, I take half those rods every time I go. 3 of them get used. Yeah.
You gotta have it though. You don't.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that gear there, I'll let people use when they come on the boat when they're filming or whatever, just so everyone's on the right page with.
So how do you do a lot of your filming? Have you got someone else to film for you?
Yeah. So I mean, I'll do, if I'm doing like the vloggy kind of GoPro style videos, I'll film those myself and with whoever else is fishing. And then our actual like polished episodes, I've got a cameraman that films with me. Yeah. So he was with us at White on Tuesday.
Cool.
So that was good. Yeah. So sort of, I mean that changes the dynamic a little bit. Just having a cameraman that's there, like trying to get the shot the whole time.
Saves you having to run around like a madman.
Well, you just can't do it, because something's going to suffer, whether it's the filming or the fishing or whatever, So, it's good to have Brad there filming, and the good thing is you capture all the action, and not just the fishing stuff. Like on Tuesday, we were out trying to find the live baits before we went out, and it was a disaster. We spent hours in the dark trying to find them. No luck. He's got all the audio of me swearing and blimmin' throwing my hands up and saying this is going to be a total junk show, and then also got the moment when we found them, and started catching them, and the story sort of tells itself from there. So yeah,
I think I saw something like that in one of your recent videos was the bait ball, and I think you were saying trying to figure out if it's Carwai, Trevally or whatever. And I had a recent experience. It must have been at Christmas time, and I was out fishing with my uncle, and it was just the ocean was alive.
Yeah.
And like you said, no matter how many times you see it, it's something special.
Oh, 100%.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah, I know. I love it, eh? And that's the cool thing about fishing. I reckon, 90% of the time you go out, you see something that kind of blows you away. Particularly when I'm game fishing, I can almost guarantee every day I go out game fishing that I'll see some thing that I'll
Dolphins,
be like, whoa, whoa, look at that. Even it's a little like bit of flotsam in the water with like a little micro kind of ecosystem going on underneath it. You see some weird little fish, and
it's cool. Eh? What do they say? Something that we know more about space than we do about the ocean.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Isn't it?
It's crazy. All right,
absolutely crazy.
Yeah, no, it's the last place that on Earth that's uncharted to humans. Underneath it anyway. For a lot of it.
Yeah, I guess
it's like you can't beat taking it. Like we take people out at like Coromandel and stuff for a day, and they've never been fishing before, and they think it's all about fishing. And you go out and you see dolphins, and then there's big workups with the gannets diving and all that, and you might get a few fish, and you stop on a nice beach up there and cook up a barbecue lunch or whatever, and then come back and they've just had an epic day.
Yeah, totally.
And you can see they're just like ticking over. Like I can see why when you guys come back and you get stuff all fish, you're like you still want to go out again. So,
yeah. It was funny last spring. My old man and I took my little centre console out for a spin. We were going to go out to the 50 metre mark. It was a beautiful flat, calm day, and I thought it'd be a bit something different. Take the centre console out, and we came across gannet workups, whales, dolphins, and we chased them around for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I was suddenly like, holy hell, man, we haven't even put a bait in the water, eh? We've just been checking out the nature wonder that was going on in front of us. So.
That's pretty cool, though. And I guess with New Zealand, we're pretty lucky that we've got that around us.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess if there's something you could take out of that whole lockdown thing, is that, for me anyway, is that it really kind of made me even appreciate it more, I'd like to think that I appreciate it a lot already, but man, just that first mission after lockdown, I was just like, oh god damn, I missed all this stuff.
We're dying to get out, aren't we? We need to go do something, so be good.
But I mean, geez, we certainly are lucky in this country. You got, I think the furthest you can get from the coast is 128 k's or something. So it's amazing, eh?
Like Hamilton, central Hamilton.
Exactly. We're probably about as far as you can get from it right here.
Yeah, exactly.
But, I mean, and the variety, of the fishery. I mean, I know if you go to the tropics, there's more variety, but here, you can go and catch everything from swordfish to blimmin' jack mackerel and piper, and
One of the other things I noticed was, I mean, obviously you do a lot of fishing, so you've probably got freezers full of fish and whatnot, but you're putting it, quite a lot of it back. So it's more of a game than anything for you.
Yeah, I mean, I've got no problem with people wanting to keep fish, and I keep plenty, but I sort of, where possible, I definitely, if I'm confident the fish is going to be have a pretty good chance of survival, I'm always pretty keen to release it. And
Put them back.
I mean, like you say though, I do a lot of fishing, so I don't need a lot of fish. You know what I mean? Like, it's just me and my wife at home, and if people are on the boat and want to take some fillets home, then so be it. But I certainly don't need to stockpile my freezer full of it.
Yeah, okay. Most of the other rec guys are probably like working 9 to 5, and then when they get the chance,
totally. And I mean, what an awesome resource for people to be able to go out and catch and harvest their own food and know where it comes from and all that. And as long as guys don't abuse it and they respect the catch.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess even the respecting the catch part, like if they eat it, then what difference does it make?
Yeah, exactly.
But for me, I do love that aspect of it for sure. I love trying different fish recipes and catching my own food. And
I've had a bit of a change of, not a change of heart, but I guess I was always a big promoter of releasing fish and, go out and I'd only take 1 or 2 and stuff. But then, like, recently, got a young fella and single income and stuff, and that resource, it's like you realise from different people's point of views, it's more valuable to them. And,
sure.
Now I find I might keep 6 or 7 and, vacuum pack them and that's 5 nights dinner, and it's way more valuable to us than it used to be. So, I guess everyone's in a different situation.
Oh, 100%. I would never judge anyone. Like I say, I mean, if guys are doing stuff outside of the boundaries of the laws, then that's a different story. But I mean, with the marlin, I'm pretty big on releasing them.
Yeah.
But I'd like to encourage people to release marlin, but at the same time, you can do whatever you want. Like I'm not going to judge someone that wants to keep a marlin.
I think it was a couple of years ago. There was this guy, and he'd been like marlin fishing his whole life, and he got one, and he finally got one, and he must have been about 75, and it went underweight. It was like 70 kilos or something, and the comments online were just ridiculous. And I was just like, mate, he's probably spent how many years chasing, those guys. He just one of those unlucky guys. He spent 10 years doing it, and he, smoked it all up, give it to his family. Good on him, just
totally.
Go for it if that's what you want to do. But,
totally, and he's done nothing wrong at all, and that's fine. I mean, I guess I know exactly the picture you're talking about, and I guess the only problem that happened there was that it ended up on social media.
Everyone's a warrior,
and it's fraught with danger, and
everyone's behind the screen tapping away,
Totally, and I mean that's something that I experience a lot with what I do. Is that you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. You release a big fish, and you get people saying, "Oh, that thing's never going to survive," and you keep a big fish, and everyone says, "Release the breeders." So,
and then if you do bring one up and it's tail wrapped and it's not going to swim away, and I've seen you do it before as well. It goes out into the community and it feeds 10 families.
Oh yeah, totally. And I mean, I kept 3 fish this year. That's your decision of the person on the boat. That's like I say, if people want to harvest the fish, then harvest away. But I certainly would like. I like the idea of it being not the first thought in an angler's mind when they get a fish to the boat is that they want to
they're reeling it in, going, "Oh, this is going to be."
You know what I mean. I take guys out that I'm introducing to game fishing for the first time, and we'll hook a fish, and they're like, "Where's the gaff?" And I'm like, "A long way from that point yet," it's not all like airy fairy for me either about saving the fish and all that. Although that plays a part of it, I also like after a big day game fishing having to deal with a dead marlin and a boat full of blood and guts, and having to get a fish to the smoker, and
I bet they're and the fish is rooted by that time as well, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean it depends. Like I think our quickest fight this year was 8 minutes. So I mean that fish was well and truly ready to go. And then I've had like those ones that I've fought for hours and hours, like they're boat side still.
Flapping away.
Full of beans,
Strong as.
So
sweet.
I don't know. It's a decision you got to make at the time, really.
Yeah,
So
fair enough.
Oh,
Cool.
cool, man. Do you ever get the old kayak out, or your days are done there?
Oh, yeah, I do. I mean, my days of flying off 80-foot waterfalls are done. I'm sure my back's blooming not up to anymore, but I got a fishing kayak there. It's seen a bit of action, so...
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. But, I mean, kayaking will always be
Yep.
a big part of me, you know, so...
Keep you fit.
Oh, yeah, not so much fit for fitness. I just like, you know, I kayaked for more of my life than I didn't, you know, so it's played a pretty big part of...
I guess like any of that sort of action sport stuff, it's you know, it's you got to get into it while you're young, and then sort of keep smashing it, and then you got to find an exit strategy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I
pretty badly.
Yeah. Well, I did the hurting myself pretty badly, but the only thing I didn't do was kill myself, which is good. But yeah, I don't know. It was always something that I was really worried about it ending, if you know what I mean. Like, it was like just the lifestyle that I had. You know, I wasn't making millions of dollars, but I was spending half my year travelling to all the places that I wanted to go, hanging out with my mates, going on epic adventures. And that's the stuff I remember more than specific waterfalls or rivers or rapids. Yeah, and just the like, you know, when you go on these like multi-day expeditions where it's scary and cold and such a hard grind, but you know, there's a group of like mates that are working towards a common goal. You sort of forge these quite intense like friendships that last a long time. Yeah, and you know, also like the exterior stuff, like being sponsored by Red Bull and all that stuff. You know, that's the dream. You know, I think they've sponsored 6 kayakers ever in their history, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It may well be more than that now, but you know, it was a pretty like exclusive club, and you know that sort of. I mean, it didn't play into my like decisions, but I was like, man, that's a lot to give up, you know. And once you walk away from that, there's no going back, kind of thing. But then when the time came, it was like, I don't know. You hear guys retiring from rugby or cricket or whatever, and they say, you know, oh, the time was right. And I was like, yeah, well,
they're coming back.
Yeah,
Carter and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, for me, the time was right. I was just like,
well, one thing I've always thought about the Red Bull thing is, you know, like you always see athletes drinking Red Bull.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's water.
I mean, I think it probably depends on the athlete. It was always Red Bull for me, but I mean, I was also not a high performance endurance athlete or anything. But I mean, I've hung out with a bunch of Olympians and, you know, coast to coast winners, and they all drink Red Bull.
Yeah. Good on them.
Yeah,
I can't. Well, it's been a long time since I've done Red Bull, and it was generally with vodka when I did it. So.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've had one too. I used to have hundreds of cases of it in my house. Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good stuff, man.
I've drank my fair share with vodka too, though, to be fair.
Haven't we all?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, how are you feeling about that? Fairly good, right?
Yeah, no,
confident.
we're on a roll.
What's your sort of target length you're aiming for your podcast?
Oh, we don't know, I mean, we're approaching on an hour there. But
you can do 1 and 2 parts. And stuff,
we can split it up. I mean, I was telling Tony that I'll do all the editing, and then we can flick it through to you to have a listen and see what you think and all that sort of stuff. And
don't worry, me, mate. I won't say anything. If I say it, I can put it down.
But we were sort of thinking that we'd try and get a few under our belt so that we could release, say, 3, so that people wouldn't get bored, or you know, they might get bored. Who knows?
Yeah, it's funny because I like when I'm going for a drive or something, I'll go through Joe Rogan's ones and I'll choose them by the time, and I'm looking for the longest ones.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm looking for the longest ones is because I know if he's spoken for that long, then there must be some good shit that's been talked about. You know what I mean? And I see the hour 21s, and there's 2 types of hour 21s. They're either total train wrecks, or they're like some ultra famous dude.
Yeah,
you know, that can't
like the Elon Musk one.
Yeah, or like Jamie Foxx.
He saw his bloody shares crashing when he was on it. Wasn't
it? Although he went back again.
It was interesting the second time he was back on there, wasn't
it? Yeah, they didn't mention it at all, which I was surprised. I was like waiting for the. So sorry about that couple of $1 billion I wiped off you. But how stupid is that?
Like, it's so ridiculous, man. Yeah, it's so ridiculous. I was listening to the Bill Burr one yesterday.
Yeah.
No, I'm right, mate. The Bill Burr one, and I was just laughing. You know, I go listen to it when I mow the lawns or I walk the dog and I go to work, and you know, it just keeps playing, so it connects to your devices. and I'm out there mowing the lawn, so I'm laughing away. And the neighbours are looking at me like, what the fuck's this guy up to?
That was a good one, actually. He's a funny dude, eh?
He is, eh?
Yeah.
He's obviously dealing with some stuff in his head. But
all those comedians are the same, man. They've got some, like, fucked up shit going on, and they're like...
I guess that's what makes them funny.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
But I watch his F is for Family on Netflix.
Okay.
And, man, that's funny.
Is it?
It's one of the best cartoons there's ever been.
Oh, I'd never even heard of the guy, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, no, that's not true. I had heard of him, but I had no experience of anything he's done. And I actually listened to it going to White Island the other day, and it's funny.
Cracks you up, eh?
How was White Island? Did you go up to where they drop people off and stuff?
No. We gave it a real wide berth, eh?
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, most of the fishing's on the other side of that anyway. Yeah. So
it's a great place to go, eh? Good place to fish.
Yeah. I sort of find it a bit hit and miss, to be honest, eh? Yeah. A lot of those Bay of Plenty kind of islands. Same with Mare, and I've had some of like the best fishing ever, and then other days you just scratch.
It's a long way to go for not much, eh? So.
Yeah.
I heard some. Well, it's probably true. I don't know, but I heard that back in the day, Mare Island used to have like a fence of marlin heads on it. Is that true?
On the Tauranga Sports Fishing Pub, there's photos of
because there used to be a pub in North. Was it Northwest Bay?
Yeah.
There was like a pub and a fishing club there, and they just used to stack them up.
Shit.
Yeah.
Different
generation
era and back there, eh?
Yeah. That's what. Like I love reading those old stories of, Zane Grey and that. But that's the only thing that strikes me. I'm like, oh, geez, they just kill everything. Yeah. Take it home.
It's like anything though, like isn't it? It's like the rainforest, for example. They're just demoing it, and then they go, "Oh shit, that was a really bad idea."
Yeah. To be fair on those guys, like you say, Tony, it was a different era, but I struggle to believe that they would have an impact on a fishery. That with the
back then,
with the range they had on their boats and the equipment they were using.
Yeah.
But I guess now the problem is it's not rec guys that are having the big impact on fish stock. Certainly they're having an impact, but it's like, it's that commercial sector, particularly with those pelagic fish that are ocean going, that have to...
Once it leaves our, fishing area or our water area, it's out of our... We can't do much about it.
Yeah, totally. Like, I'm not going to sit and put the boot into commercial fishermen because, everyone has jobs.
They play a vital part, and industry's good for everything.
But there's ways to do it right and there's ways to do it wrong, so...
Yeah.
I guess, the guys on those boats are probably just doing what they're told anyway.
Oh, yeah, totally. It's not their fault, but it's... Yeah, it's just the methods, really, that, like purse seining's a big one that I wouldn't mourn that. And, trawl netting. Guys that want to go out and like long line and stuff like that, I've got no problem with that.
That's more selective fishing. Then,
exactly.
So, for market and whatnot. But when they're just hauling it in and getting nothing for it, but they feel like they have to catch it to meet, otherwise they'll lose their quota and stuff.
Well, that's the other thing. We want to talk to people like that and try and understand, both sides of the story, I guess.
Yeah, like I'd be keen to sit down with someone like Sanfords or Sea Lords or something, but then, the other end of the scale too, you've obviously got Rescue Fish and Legacy and all those people, but we'll see how we go.
It would be interesting. I think those Sanford, want to single out Sanfords, but those big corporate fishing companies, I think they've convinced themselves that all their marketing material is true, that it's selective, sustainable, those
dolphin friendly,
nauseating TV commercials that they put on, with like slow motion of some guy and his like yellow fishing PVC outfit. I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah.
You would hope that. I'm to be honest, I don't know a lot about it, but you'd hope that they're putting some funding and some thought into the innovation behind the way they're doing it, rather than just doing the same old thing.
I'm sure they are.
I think they're definitely changing, considering if there's no fish out there, they can't run their operation, so they have to. There's a bit of responsibility there as well. So.
Yeah.
And you can't always focus on what happened 20 years ago. It's everyone's.
No, totally
changing and got a different way of thinking and whatnot.
Yeah, but it's an important resource, that for a whole variety of different parts of society, and it's sort of, it's got to be looked after. But what the answer is, I don't know.
It's a whole nother kettle of fish, that one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just gotta go to the lake.
That's another bloody that's another rabbit hole you could go down. But I haven't really looked into this rescue fish too much, but
Nah, not really. I just saw something come out the other day, but vaguely looking at. I think the people that actually do the fishing, they don't own the quota, but they're making, spare change at the end of it, and these people sitting in offices taking the well, what's snapper in the supermarket is, I don't know if it's $38 a kilo. Of that kilo, 30 of it's going to someone sitting in an office, and $2 is going to the guy that's actually physically fishing for it. And you got your supermarket and the people packaging it and all that. So, which isn't right, but it is what it is, I guess. So, until they do something about it, but
I sort of pay attention, but I also kind of, I'm careful not to jump into commercial bashing or something. It's a bit like everything, there's people at extreme ends of the scale, and it's
well, my job, and we deal with conveyors and stuff, and that's Sanfords and mines and quarries and all that. You've got to have industry for the country to move forward. So as long as they're doing it sustainably and whatnot.
So it's all the people destroying the earth and the oceans.
So, no, it's all good.
It's a shame that bloody that post-lockdown fishing comp you guys are running wasn't already started on bloody Tuesday. Would have had a good shot at that kingfish title.
Yeah, we had to obviously cancel one base at Raglan. And had a bit of stuff left over from that, and just thought, we'll just run a measure-based comp.
That's a cool idea.
People can release them, and then we're thinking about entry fees, and we've got the prizes, and there will be, everyone's in a different, situation, but some people are still doing alright, but other people are struggling. So if you want to take your family fishing, you don't want to spend bloody $70 on an entry or something.
Yeah, sure.
So we thought, we'll do it for free and just go for it. So, we'll see what happens.
No, it's a good idea. It's genius having a closed peg.
Yeah, we're just hey, 99% of the world's honesty out there, and you wouldn't do it, but there's going to be the odd guy that'll caught a fish in a measure-based on, but you can't do much. I don't know. If they want to stand up at prize giving and shake your hand and take a prize,
exactly.
I don't how they sleep at night. But
I always say that, when people, cheating in a fishing competition.
I had someone message me and they were like, there's a fishing comp a few years ago where you had to put a closed peg, and I was like, mate, I'm not changing the rules. If they really want to go the effort and send it in and go for it and win a prize and feel good about themselves, then good on them, go for it, so.
Oh
We'll
well.
have to get out there and give it a nudge.
Yeah, I think the old trout one will be, no one will concentrate on that being Saltwater Club, so that'll be the one to go for.
How long does it run for?
20th of June to 20th of August, so you got ages. So
get into
2
it.
months.
I'll get into it.
Yeah.
Trout season closes next Sunday though, eh?
Yeah. So there's a few all year places, but I guess that's the other reason to get into it. So.
I'm doing a closing weekend tournament next weekend.
Where's that based?
Rotowedi. I mean, when I say tournament, it's like a bunch of. It's actually, all my mates and I have always done the opening weekend.
Yep.
Fishing.
Yeah.
But and all the girls are like, oh, you guys all get to go away and get on the piss for the weekend and go trout fishing, and we're like, okay, well, we'll do take the girls for closing weekend, and it's actually I actually enjoy it way more.
Yeah.
The food's a lot better.
Yeah.
The drinks like champagne in the morning instead of rum.
Yeah. I couldn't believe it. I moved to Rotorua for about a couple of years, and for work I got a job over there, and it just came to the start of the trout season, and there's just hundreds of boats in town, and I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, it's opening weekend, it's a big thing over there. I actually enjoy trout fishing,
It just, I don't think it will ever be my passion, but it's fun,
Just a different...
Something different, and the lakes, it's so nice. Man, just cruising around.
Rotowedi,
flat.
and you get tired, you can just go get in the hot pools.
In the hot pools, Don't have to clean the boat at the end of the day.
Well, I was brought up, I don't know if it's similar to you, like my old man, he's a 50 metres out Raglan in November catching big fish with a snapper flash, and that was like how we were brought up. And trout fishing's bloody mud fishing. And then our mutual friend Jeremy, he went over to overseas and got a bit into it, and then we got into fly fishing and stuff. And then we do like in the summer months on those with the like springs that feed the Rotorua surroundings and you're casting those big woolly buggers and stuff like that, streamer fishing, and I reckon it's the closest thing to like stick baiting for kingfish ever. Like there's a sunken log and you're like casting it out and you're pulling it in, and then there's these aggressive takes. They're jumping out of the water, smashing these flies and stuff. And I was like, once again I was brought up, bloody mud fishing most of the time, and it's that light gear and it's bloody awesome. Like, I was hooked straight away just into it.
I used to do a little bit of fly fishing as a young fella as well, and I've just ordered a new rod. I actually dug out my old rod over lockdown, casting in one of my paddocks, and then I went down we were on the Waikato River at home, and I went down and was like casting a few flies. Ended up just jagging mullet. But
I was going to say, the old carp down in the river as well.
Yeah, I used to catch them all the time as a kid, and we used to catch hundreds of them.
There was people getting into bow fishing.
Yeah, well, I could have got, if I had a bow, I could have got them, but geez, I was trying everything. But the problem was I couldn't get any supplies. I was like, we used to fish with a tiny little, like, 1 bar row, little light bait hook, and then light line and a float. And we'd just put bread or whatever and kept like by the 1,000. Then I was trying it all. Dug some bread out of the freezer, made little things up. No.
They're getting smart, eh?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think they're actually slightly different. I think these are more kind of koi carp. We used to catch rudd, which they look like carp. They look like big goldfish, but they got a black stripe down the middle, or a black sort of smudge down the middle.
These ones are getting bigger, aren't they?
Yeah.
You see them like at the bottom of the Carapara Dam and stuff, They must be up near 20-30 pound, They're huge,
Nasty.
Over lockdown, I just had to tie the dog's toy onto the end of the fishing rod and had a bloody... It was awesome fun. She loved it.
Excellent.
Testing the knots,
Yeah.
So where do you see Built to Fish going, or is it sort of just day by day thing, or you got some plans? Any trips?
I've got plenty of trips coming up, yeah. So I've, actually just in the last week, we've penned a new deal with Hunting and Fishing, off the back of that we've got a whole lot of trips planned sort of in association with them in Daiwa, which will be pretty cool. We've just booked one to go trout fishing down the canals.
Oh yeah?
Nice. So in August, which will be a bit of a laugh. It's
a bucket list trip though, the down the canals.
Yeah, so that'll be cool. That's something I've always wanted to do. What else we're doing? We're doing some soft baiting stuff, some deep dropping, all sorts. So we've got a lot on. Where do I see it going? We're still sort of trying to find a real permanent home for it. At the moment we're getting tons of people watching it, great feedback, across the social media channels that it's on. But the problem is you're always at the mercy of like Facebook or whatever, and that the way they control the content, and try and make you pay for it or whatever. It just you run the risk of, if you put all your eggs in that basket, of it suddenly like stopping.
I guess the advertising dollars then sort of...
So I mean, at the moment we're on Play Stuff, which is Stuff's like video on demand platform that you get on Vodafone TV and online and that, and that's a pretty good place for it. Ultimately where I'd like to end up is somewhere on a video on demand platform, whether it's a network one or or something like a Netflix or a Neon or something like that.
It'd be quite cool to get something that has that international reach.
Totally. I mean, that would be great. I'm not too fussed about that. What I'm really fussed about is not handing over any control of it, which we had some interest from some TV guys a while back, and it just wasn't a good fit for me. You have
been listening to Rogan, eh?
Spotify, if you're listening, I want 100 million. No, but it's true though. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to. I don't want to like. I don't know.
Creative control. I mean, you can lose that so quickly if someone else gets involved.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, there's a lot to being on television too. Like, a streaming or an online service that there's not so many restrictions around audio and colour and ad breaks and all that other technical jargon, you know, like so you sort of have a bit more flexibility there, and yeah, I don't know, and you're very, very locked into a time frame, you know what I mean? So it's like you have to do whatever you want to do in 23 minutes or 47 minutes.
Yeah.
Whereas I like it being able to sort of breathe a little bit, you know, I don't want to like drag stuff on too long. But if something's good enough that it can be longer, people will sit and watch it, you know. And if you've got something cool that doesn't necessarily need to go for 20 minutes, then people will sit and watch it as well. And I like having that. So that's sort of where we're evolving a bit, you know. We're like,
I guess that next generation coming through is only going to be more and more like that.
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
Well, for me, for example, I'm in my mid-30s. We don't even have bloody TV connected. It's just internet, right? Yeah. So it's Netflix. You watch a little bit of on demand, and you know the rest of it's YouTube.
Yeah,
just watch what you want to watch when you want to watch.
Exactly, and you don't care how long stuff is, right? And I think the key, and you're hitting the nail on the head. The key to keeping people entertained is consistency. You know, like that. What I'd love is for when people see a new episode of Built to Fish pop up to be like, yes, you know. And I'm the same when I see a new piece of online content from Meat Eater or you know, I don't know, the people that you like to see on YouTube. I'm like, oh, sick, new video.
It used to be a thing I was really into on YouTube, and it was like, you know, automotive thing in the US, and it was so good, right? I loved it, loved watching it, and I was so hooked. And then they put it on their paid platform. I just lost interest, like completely.
Yeah, exactly.
And because it was behind a paywall, and then I had to, you know, fuck around and trying to get it in the US and whatever it was. But I think what you're saying is getting it on one of those platforms and allowing people to watch it when they want to watch it, be excited by it, be ready for it, rather than 7:30 on a Wednesday.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah,
it'd be interesting to see some stats too, of like for example, like my other passions like hunting and the whole NZ Hunter Adventures thing. I don't think I've ever watched an episode live on their TV. I just like,
oh really?
Oh yeah, it's right. Wednesday's gone past. I'll watch it Thursday night, or when I get some time on demand on their page. But that obviously still shows up as a view, and I'm obviously a good follower of it. But I'd never sit down and watch it on TV. On, like,
I'm not sure how accurate them being able to track TV views really is, like.
Well, I always think that, like, if there's, 5 years sitting in a room, or one, same with the rugby and that, how they actually know.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's that much content out there now that you've got to be doing something that captures people, especially if you want them to sit down for.
But even they've got that stress of TV. Like, you'll notice their shows it's mountain climbing and pack rafting down rivers, and then it's like, all right, we're going to traverse Mount Cook and then shoot a tar on the west coast and then come back out on the east coast.
Yeah, totally.
It's like, shit, no one would ever do that. But hey, it's an adventure. And
I mean, I could sympathise with them. Like 5 years ago, I would have been like, what are they putting this shit on TV for? And then that's how it is. You're like, you go out and you go for 5 days and don't shoot an animal, don't see an animal, and then you've got like 13 episodes to roll out.
Yeah, and I guess
it's a lot of work.
People like us actually have to put some effort into the content because we don't have asses like the Kardashians.
Yeah, exactly. But those guys do the Dawleys. They do a good job, man. They do a real good job, eh?
Yeah, it's a bloody good show, eh? It's, Greg the old man, he's a bit gerty, but he's
he's
follow. He's funny, eh? He's good.
They're good hunters, though, eh? Like it's certainly, some of that long range stuff they do.
It's insane. They got the gear and whatnot, eh?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure they've got, like yourself, you got thousands of hours of footage that just didn't turn into anything.
Oh
yeah.
It's
all
part of the game, though, isn't it?
Well, the thing is, it sounds stupid, but what I'm trying to do is, with each piece of content I do, is tell a story, and that's what makes it tricky. Is that it's easy to like whip your camera out when someone catches a big fish, but if you take that piece of footage home, what do you do with it? You can put a clip up for 30 seconds of someone like, hey, look at this big fish, whoop, chuck it in the icy bin or chuck it over the side or whatever, but it's having so for me, if I want to be able to use my footage, I need to have that big fish, but I also need to have like telling the story of
the journey.
The journey, yeah. And it's also like, and what I've tried to do with Built to Fish is, you know, have like focus on the characters, the activity, the location, and like have that as like an equal part of the story, you know.
I like that about your Far North one, actually. You know, you were putting the boat in, and then you were catching the liveys, and then the bloke from the US was just hooking up left, right, and centre. Yeah, and there was I don't know. We obviously only saw a portion of it, but you said you covered some miles. You know, you went right up to the Cape and turned around and came back.
Yeah, and it's funny, you know, that fishing was hard on that trip. And then, you know, you put it into 23 minutes and it looks like...
Shit's an epic trip.
Yeah, totally.
Been out on the water for 8 hours a day or something.
Yeah, I'd say 16 hours a day. But that was in summer when it was in December when the days are long.
Yeah.
Brilliant. But no, it's cool. I mean, it's put something, you know, it's a different element to bring into it. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool. And like I say, I'll get a kick out of it, and I enjoy being able to share it with people, you know, and people for the most part seem stoked, and I get lots of interesting questions, and you know, it's nice.
I mean, it's, you know, and we appreciate the fact that you've wanted to spend some time with us and talk about it.
Oh, it's great. I mean, pleasure to be here. I'll always talk fishing, eh? So especially when you shout me a couple of beers, mate.
And your wife seems to be quite into it too.
Yeah, she is. Bonus, yeah, it is a bonus.
Yeah, the rest of us have to, you know, make up excuses and.
No, she loves it, and the beauty is she doesn't get seasick.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so no, she's new to fishing. Well, I guess not that new. I mean, together for 8 or so years, but yeah, that's cool. And it, you know, again, like it's cool to introduce people to. I wouldn't call it a sport, to the activity,
lifestyle.
The lifestyle, yeah.
Like I was saying before, the whole Coromandel trip, you know, it's more about the day out, you know, and if you catch some good fish, it's a bonus.
Yeah, it's a bonus. Yeah, exactly.
We were talking before you came. We do a sort of we call it a fishing comp, don't we? What's the name of it?
It's like the
Coromandel
Angler contest. Yeah. Like, because obviously I'm part of the Waikato Sport Fishing Club, and we organise all the comps, and there's a bit of pressure in that. But once a year we just do this like
we had a trophy made up, and it was engraved by a friendly
Chinese bloke,
Chinese dude, and we ended up ending with the heavest snapper.
The heavest snapper, and he was like real apologetic. He's like, "Oh, re-engrave it." I was like, "No,
we thought
mate,
it was
perfect."
The best thing.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, for us, it's just the boys getting together and having a weekend. You know, it's so much fun every time we do it. And it's gotten bigger. Like for the last 3 years, we've done it. You know, started off with like 4 boats, and then next year there was 8, and this year there was like 20 boats. And, you know,
excellent.
It's just getting bigger and bigger, and it's just us. You know.
Yeah. Where do you fish out of?
Just out of
Coromandel
Town. Out of Coromandel Town.
Yeah.
Oh, wicked.
Some people get, you know, pretty excited and go deep and far out, and the rest of us just get into the mussel farms and have a few bevies.
Yeah. That's what it's all about. Yeah.
It's good.
It's good fun, man.
Cool.
Oh, it'll be good to get the old competitions up and running again, eh?
It's been a bit of a bummer for a while there.
Yeah.
I
was quite excited for the Big 4 this year.
Yep. No.
Have you ever had a crack at that one off the 90 Mile Beach?
No, I've done very little surf casting actually.
They catch some big fish up there.
Oh man, that's a almost like a different sport, eh? Those guys are incredible fishermen.
Like, do you know, like on that NZ surf casting and rock fishing, that old Robert J. Browning fella, eh?
I haven't seen him.
Oh, he's a bloody bit of a legend, eh? He's got down Maricopa and stuff. He's got some big fish, you know. They put the effort in.
Off the beach at Maricopa or off the rocks?
No, off the beach, I think, and then even that Carfier entrance and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I was all fired up to go surf casting. Once we were allowed to do it, and I ordered a whole lot of gear. And with the couriers, it
didn't turn up.
Oh man, it took 4 weeks.
Same.
I was gutted, so I've got a whole lot of surf casting there. So it's on the cards. I'm actually going to go up and film with Rod Parker on that 90 Mile Beach.
Oh, cool.
At the end of the year.
Yeah, because you always hear about it, but you just see photos and the fish that they're bringing in, you think, shit.
They're pretty committed though, eh? Like there's every 10 metres or 20 metres there's an angler, and then they camp on the beach and they're pretty much fishing 24 hours.
Yeah.
To be honest, I just want to make one of those like spud gun things to shoot,
Yeah.
shoot bait out to the water.
Yeah.
Drones and everything now, The world's your oyster with that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's like all types of fishing, like, well, not all types, but, a lot of those things that I think you got to give everyone due credit, you can't just pick up a fly rod and go and catch a trout unless you're very lucky, and it's a bit, I think surf casting and rock fishing's the same, you've actually got to put in the time and figure it out and get your spots, and yeah.
That'd be been the travelling sales rep as I am, the like stick baiting from the shore, That's pretty rewarding, So one of my favourites. But I see you got the old marlin up on the stick bait rod up there,
Yeah.
But
Horrible.
Not recommended.
Not recommended, man.
Good footage, but that was about it.
Oh, Jesus, that broke me. Yeah. If I was going to do that again, actually I'd do it again. It just pain goes away, But those long rods, that's a problem, man. And that marlin was like, at the start it was sweet because it was jumping around and it was on the surface with line angle, but then it just dogged down for like almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I had an 8'8"
Yeah.
stick baiting rod, and I was just getting slapped. No harness or anything. In the end, I got a shoelace and tied it around my waist, and just so I could. The problem was I had the drag cranked up so hard, and then when he went down, I couldn't even take a hand off the rod to back the drag off. I was just But no, it was cool. It was good to tick that box. But I think if I was in that situation again, I'd have a spin reel on a jigging rod. And because you don't need to be able to cast 50 metres, they're just there. So you just, in fact, you can't cast because we have to have big long leaders so you can actually leader it.
Yeah.
So you've got your stick bait, and then you've got, a metre of whatever you're running, 130 pound leader, and then a swivel, and then some actual leader that you can leader it with. Yeah. So you can't cast.
Yeah, you can't.
Anyway.
It's not biggest. Yeah.
So you may as well have something with a bit of softness in it. It's not a giant lever that's trying to kill you. But
add that leverage up. It's a lot of pressure on your back and the lower back and stuff.
Man.
Shit, if you've already broken it as well, fuck.
Oh yeah, it's funny, it doesn't. It's not activity that hurts it. It's like sitting and driving is my nemesis at the moment.
Oh really?
Yeah. Sort of all my hips spasm up and it's gnarly, but which is good for someone that drives a lot and edits a lot, sitting on my ass. When I'm out doing stuff, it's sweet, hey.
Yeah.
But I must admit, I woke up pretty bloody sore this morning, but that was a big kingfish. That was,
Shit.
I don't think it would have mattered if it had broken back or not.
You got any plans with boats and stuff moving forward? Are you pretty happy with the setup you got, or?
Oh, I'm real happy. The plan was to change that big boat over every 2 years.
Yep.
And we're at about that now. But it would be the same model.
Yeah.
And for me, boats are they're not like cars. I reckon the best your boat will run is 6 months after you get it, kind of thing. Once you get it all, you get the motor softened up, you get all your new gear dialed in, it's all running well. So for me to switch it out now, it's in good nick. Got a new motor on it last week.
Oh yeah.
It's the third motor it's had.
Yep.
Honda rolls the motor over every 500 hours. So it seems like there's no point to me to just build exactly the same boat. I wouldn't change much about it.
Anything,
No.
Yeah.
Don't fix what ain't broke.
No, exactly. And I mean, I own it, so it's not like I have any. Oh, there's a few contracts there that we had to figure out. I had to pay a bit of stuff, but it's fine.
Must stonk along with a big 250 on the back of it.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I couldn't tell you what its top speed is. I don't drive at top speed ever.
Yeah,
fair enough.
I've got my sweet spot that I cruise at. I drive looking at a fuel economy rather than a speed. Yeah, but I mean it's a pretty big boat, 7.5 meters. A lot of gear on it, so it's quite heavy. So
yeah, true.
Yeah, I wouldn't want any smaller than a 250 on it. But the new motor goes good.
You got any? This might be a little bit controversial. Any thoughts on the old 450? It's not 450. 4-stroke, 2-stroke debate.
There's not going to be much options soon.
Yeah, I was going to say. I don't know if there's a debate. Is there? What's the debate?
Oh, well, isn't there some of those new motors that are the newer Evinrudes and stuff that 2-stroke?
Oh yeah,
performing or not?
Yeah, like Tony says, there's not going to be any debate soon.
They're going under.
They went under.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
See you later. So I don't know. I think you.
Having owned an Evinrude, I won't mourn their demise. It was great when it was good,
Yeah.
but it was not good a lot. And the problem with outboard motors is they don't normally break down when you're at home in the driveway.
Exactly.
They break
They're a
down
long
when
way
you're at
from
sea.
home.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, four strokes. I mean, fuel economy, reliability,
I just
No
think
smoke.
of like
no smoke.
we got this Honda generator at work, and it's probably done about 3,500 hours, and it's probably never been serviced, and it gets chucked
Yeah.
in the back of quarries and stuff, and it just ticks away, and you're just
keeps
like,
chugging.
Yeah.
So when you wanted to get back from places like White Island and stuff, it's good to have a good name like that behind you.
Oh, totally. And I mean, I like being able to sit there having a conversation like this while we're steaming along at 25 knots. It's
Yeah.
like,
Well, my brother recently put a Honda 50 on his. He's got a little Mac 420, and he used to have a two-stroke on that.
Yeah.
And it took us probably a good year. Like, we'd be out like soft baiting or something up the Coromandel and that, and you'd go to start it, and it's already been it's been running
Yeah.
the whole time you're fishing. Like, you just forget about it.
Yeah.
It's a big bloody grinding noise, eh? And you're like, oh shit, sorry mate.
yeah. I do that with a 250 all
Yeah.
the time. I'll be like sitting there, like, I'm like, what the hell is that noise?
Yeah.
And it's not the motor,
water
it's
stream.
It's the
Yeah.
water coming out.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh fuck, the motor's still going. Oops.
They've
So-
definitely come a long way, the old outboards. So.
Yeah.
What? The old ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, I mean, geez, take the cowling off, eh? I don't know how those guys can learn to service a motor like that. It's like there's no space in it for. I mean, it looks like a computer inside it, eh?
Yeah, shit.
So,
You're pretty ticko too. Hook them all up to your bloody.
yeah. Yeah, there's no
Springs
hiding.
and-
I take it into Honda for its service, and they'll be like, "So on the 15th of February, did you anything?" I'm like, "Oh fuck,
Yeah.
yeah, the water EMS fell off when I was washing it. Oh, that'll be the overheating. Yep,
Yeah.
yeah,
Cool,
yeah,
man.
that's good.
Cool. Should we start wrapping this up? So it's getting a bit late. We got a few
Yeah, we thought we'd
final
try and-
questions. We call them the quick cast questions.
All right, hit me.
So biggest fish.
The biggest fish I've caught would be a blue marlin out of the Bay of Islands. That was probably, I didn't weigh it, I tagged it, but I'd say it was around 250 kilos.
Holy smokes,
Mm.
that's big,
Getting
alright.
up there.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a black marlin yet, or still on the list?
Nah, well, I mean, I've been on the boat for plenty,
Yeah.
but I've never wound one of myself. I filmed up on the Great Barrier Reef on Hellraiser year before last,
Yep.
and we caught 6 or 7, one grander.
There always seems to be one stray one that comes down the west coast every year.
Yeah.
Trying to get your name on that.
Yeah. No, I'd love to catch one.
So. Ah,
I'm
cool.
sure I'll come across one somewhere. It'd be pretty cool to catch one in New Zealand.
Yep. Oh,
But,
that'd be
yeah.
awesome.
Alright, your most memorable fish.
Ooh, my most memorable. God, I've had a few. I've been pretty lucky.
It doesn't have to be one you've caught. It could have been like, I don't know, you take your old man out or someone, or I don't know. But,
Yeah.
someone that appreciated. It's just
I had a marlin jump through my driver's side window off Cartier a couple of years ago. That was pretty bloody memorable.
yeah.
That's a good one, actually.
Yeah,
I like
probably my wife Mel and I were out fishing at the 30-metre mark, just on ledger rigs. Summer, went out like during the Christmas holidays, catch a feeder snapper, and I hooked what I thought was a kingfish, and then I thought it was a shark, and I went up on the bow, unwrapped it from the ankle warp, unwrapped it from the burley pot, was putting my thumbs on the spools, trying to break it off, wound it up, and it was a 29-pound snapper. That was pretty memorable, and it had a big chunk out of its back that it had either gone through a net or it had some
Bit of character.
historical injury. Yeah, but I probably would have just about nudged it over 30, so that was pretty bloody memorable. And the fact that I took zero care with it trying to wind it in, like, yeah.
It was a good challenge, and you got there in the end.
Yeah.
Alright, this one's a bit of a double banger. Best location the best location you've fished, and the dream location to fish.
The best location I'd fished would probably be the Wanganellas, or Kona. They're both pretty bloody good. Kona's cool because it's nice and flat.
Yeah.
Fish are big. Wanganellas is cool because it's like a crazy adventure. Hokianga, man, that's pretty hard to go past. That would, be one of those three probably. The dream location, I've got heaps. Cape Verde I'd like to go to.
Yeah.
Really like to fish Cape Verde. Cabo San Lucas. Yeah. There's a few.
When the planes are flying again, you'll be able to...
Yeah, I'd be pretty keen to go and try and catch one of these big bloody northern bluefin off the west coast of the South Island.
Oh yeah, cool.
That'd be pretty cool. Yep.
It's coming up, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're a bit harder to find now. They used to rely on the Russian trawl nets being all shit, and on the hokey falling out of them, but there's no hokey left and there's no Russian trawlers left, so...
Do you follow Josh James at all? Or?
Yeah, I know Josh well.
Yeah.
Well, he owns a rafting company down south, so we've sort of moved in the same circles for years.
You gotta bloody love him, eh? Like, he's rough as shit. Like, he's like sponsored by Stony Creek and stuff, and he's out in the middle of the bush, and he's like, "This is fucking shit, this jacket."
Totally.
He's like straight up, and then he got that big bluefin last year off the back of his boat or something, and then he bloody pulls the old 12 gauge out and fucking nails it in the head. And
I didn't see that.
Oh god, he's a laugh, eh?
So, do you pay for him on Patreon?
Yeah.
See, I must do that. I can't bring myself to give him any more money.
Yeah.
I like Josh. He's a good bugger.
Yeah, but no, he got one down there last year. It's a good size fish.
Yeah, he's just about hooked me over lockdown though, because you know how he will do a 4-part raw.
Yep.
And they'll put one on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I watched one in the day, and I was like, "Fuck! I really want to see how this finishes."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's got an annual. He's a bit of a laugh. Like, he'll put a video on unsuccessful trips and stuff. Like, you get all keened up for it, and he's like, "Oh, you got fuck all for that." Or, he's just like, if anything happens, he'll like
character. Yeah.
Cool. That's all good. We should try and bloody. He's a bit far away, but we could try and get him on over bloody Skype or something. I know he's done a few podcasts.
Like a phone call.
Chuck him on the list. Yeah.
Bucket list species.
I get asked that quite a lot by people, and I've ticked a lot of them, eh? I guess catching my own black marlin would be one. Quite like to catch a rooster fish. That would be pretty cool. Rooster fish probably would be the one.
It's a pretty common one, eh? The rooster fish. Who does that? Does Tony Orton still do those overseas trips, I think? Or?
Well, not at the moment, he doesn't.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's dried up a bit.
Catching panty snapper in the Mangawai Harbour.
Yeah. I saw him at the Mokes on Saturday.
Oh, yeah?
He was there, yeah.
Cool.
And lastly, favourite fishing style?
Oh, that's an impossible question. Probably marlin trawling. Trolling. But, oh God, I don't know. I haven't got one. Live baiting for kingfish, soft baiting in the shallows, stray lining.
So just fishing.
Stray lining with a dirty big bait. Yeah, I like them all.
On that, do you do any live baiting for marlin, or you just look?
Oh yeah, I've done a bit. I had grand plans to do a lot more this year, but it sort of seemed the live baiting gets good sort of from late March into April. So obviously. That was going to be my run for 20 marlin for the season, but bolt.
2020. It's done it for everyone.
Yeah.
Fuck everyone.
2020.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's sort of what we've got for you, and it's been awesome chatting.
Excellent. Thanks for having me, boys.
That's episode 1 with Ben
Brown. Episode 1 in the can.
People want to bloody follow your socials, you're on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Yeah, it's all just built to fish, so have a look-see.
We'll chuck a link up as well and go from there.
Sweet as. Cool. All right. Cheers, mate.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.